Hey everyone, in this video, we will answer the following question. Who pays the buyer agent commission in New York City? I'm Nick at Hauseit, based here in South Florida. Check out our website, hauseit.com, if you're looking to buy, sell, or rent here in New York City, Long Island, the Hudson Valley, or South Florida. We can save you up to 6% if you're selling through our assisted FSBO service. We have 1% full service option as well. And on the buy side, we can save you up to 2% or more on your purchase through our buyer closing credit program. So please do reach out, team@hauseit.com, or visit hauseit.com if you'd like to learn how to save money. So let's get started. So who pays the buyer agent commission in New York City? This is a very easy topic because in almost every instance, it is the seller who will pay the buyer agent commission on a typical listing in New York City. Now, a quick refresher on commission rates in New York City. Most sellers pay between 5 and 6% in total commission on a sale. That commission is customarily co-broked or split equally between the listing agent and the buyer's agent. So in the case of a 6% commission, the listing agent will earn 3%, compliments of the seller, and the buyer's agent will also receive 3%, compliments of the seller. So a prospective purchaser, when thinking through closing costs, really need not worry about commissions. Any buyer's agent will work with that prospective purchaser, and the buyer, her or himself, will not have to physically cut a check for the services rendered by that buyer's agent. Instead, the seller will cut a check in the amount of, in this case, 3%, payable to the buyer's agent on the purchase. And this actually brings us to the main reason why buyers are overwhelmingly represented in New York City. In fact, over 3/4 of buyers are working with a buyer's agent on a typical purchase in New York. And here's why. You have 50,000 agents walking around New York City. There are literally 50,000 real estate agents in New York City in particular. And every one of those agents is networking, going to Equinox, talking with people, colleagues, friends, and saying, hey, are you looking to buy? If so, I can work with you, and it's completely free. The reason being, as we've discussed, the seller is the one who is paying that buyer agent commission. Now, it goes without saying that although the buyer isn't actually physically paying that commission, that does not mean the service is free, because the seller, when thinking about their asking price and what sort of transaction terms they're willing to accept in the course of a negotiation, is obviously factoring in the fact that they have to pay, say, 2.5% or 3% to a buyer's agent. So although technically the services of a buyer's agent are free here in New York City, they're really not, and the seller is paying for it, and the buyer ultimately is the one who is paying for the entire purchase price, including the portion that goes to the buyer's agent. So this brings us to the next concept, which is that of buyer agent commission rebates. There's actually a very easy way as a buyer in New York City to save money on your purchase. And the way this mechanically works is by receiving a portion of the commission back from your buyer's agent. This is customarily called a buyer agent commission rebate, and at Hauseit, we call this our Hauseit buyer closing credit service. So if you're buying a property, let's say it's $5 million, you're buying a condo in Gramercy, and that buyer agent commission is 3%, that's $150,000, which you are essentially paying for by way of coming up with the entire purchase price, money that is paid by the developer to your buyer's agent. With a buyer agent commission rebate, in the case of Hauseit, for example, you could receive back 2/3 of $150,000. So up to $100,000 automatically refunded on your purchase upon closing. Put in another way, reducing your purchase price by up to 2%, or if we look at it in the perspective of your closing costs, you could potentially cut down 50% or more of your closing costs, which in New York are anywhere from 4 to 5% for a new development condo, and in some cases higher. You would be actually lowering that by way of receiving the buyer agent commission rebate. So in conclusion, it is the seller who pays the buyer agent commission here in New York City. That does not mean, however, that it's a quote unquote free service from the perspective of the buyer. The buyer is still paying for it indirectly by way of coming up with the purchase price. That being said, a savvy buyer can very easily remove part of that commission from the equation and reduce her or his purchase price and closing costs by way of receiving a buyer agent commission rebate, also known here at Hauseit as a Hauseit buyer closing credit. So if you are looking to buy in New York City, Miami and South Florida, Westchester, the Hudson Valley, or Long Island, we can save you money on your purchase by offering you the buyer agent commission rebate. Visit our website, Hauseit.com, or send an email to team@Hauseit.com to learn more. You can also give us a call, 888-494-8258 to learn more. I'm Nick at Hauseit. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.